Welcome to Rewired, Neuroscience Meets Real-Life Change. This is your space for unlocking intentional growth in yourself and in the people you lead, coach, and inspire. I'm Tiffany Grimes with Empower Coaching and Training, and I'm so happy to be here with you. Each episode of Rewired blends brain science and real-world application, delivering practical tools you can use right away to create lasting change. Through expert interviews, powerful coaching conversations, and bite-sized solo episodes, I share the neuroscience-based strategies for rewiring habits, expanding possibilities, and living with purpose. Whether you are pursuing your own transformation or helping people navigate theirs, you'll find insight, community, and empowerment here. This is where science meets soul. The change gets real. Satya, I am so grateful that you are here and with us today, our first guest on Rewired, so thank you for that. I want to share with all our listeners who you are. I've known Satya for about 5 years now. She has been part of our Empower Coaching and Training team, where she's been providing individual and group parenting coaching, and it's been such a gift to empower. She is also a certified transformational parenting coach for the last 13 years. She's also the founder of Turning Point Parenting. She brings a wealth of expertise to her practice and just energy and excitement, and it's amazing to work with her. She has recently completed an additional training through Relational Life Institute and really helps partners navigate conflict and really specifically deepen their connection. Satya, I adore you. Let me just start there. I do really just adore you. I love our journey together. I love working with you. I love the gifts that you put out into the world and how you are setting the stage to transform not just individuals, but families and really generations in the work that you've done with both couples and with parenting intentionally. And I'm just so grateful to have you in this space. And I know that, so our history has really been around parent coaching. And I know that you have really followed this passion of yours that has led you to couples coaching, and you're doing more training on this and more work in this. And I thought it might be nice to start with the question, just what is coaching for couples? You know, we know coaching therapy, people go to therapy, but I feel like in the world of coaching, or in couplehood, I guess, really couples coaching is kind of new to the scene. So what is it and why does it work?
Yes, thank you, Tiffany, so very much for having me. I'm so appreciative to be here. Thank you. Ah, what is couples coaching? I want to share a story. I think
Yeah.
it's a great way to embed the information. So I want to share, I'm currently working with a couple, and they came to me, which is a very common way of coming to the couples coaching, is we can't communicate and we fight all the time, right? So I hear this constantly. And so coming in and working with these people has just been so wonderful. After session number 1, basically what we found out was that the wife, this is a heterosexual couple, husband and wife. The wife is a yeller and the husband is the passive aggressive withdrawer. So he bails out. So what happens is that she comes after him, right? And so she yells, she wants the space for connection and she wants to talk, but now she's escalated, she's yelling. Husband needs the space to go away. And so now he gets passive aggressive. He withdraws and off he goes, right? And then they are caught in this loop. So this loop, which we can have one pattern in a relationship, we can have 3 patterns in a relationship. Inevitably, it does really distill down to 1 to 3, right? So we get stuck in this loop. And this is the challenge. This is the sequence. And it's called the Eden loop. There's one way to call it the Eden loop. So his trigger triggers her. Her trigger triggers him. And off to the races they go, right? And so basically, here they are triggering one another, and that nobody wants to be able to stop and say, hey, I want to give you empathy. Hey, I want to be able to say, hey, let's stop, right? It's not in the space. Nobody has the patience for that. Off to the races they go, right? So after session number 2, the wife ended up, we found out that her voice as a child was never heard, right? Hence yelling. Husband, basically, he was relegated to the corner. He didn't matter, right? So his voice, he just didn't have one. So look, I want to say this. Couples coaching is not, we're not putting a microscope on your past. We're not doing that, right? But what we are doing is answering day-to-day questions and getting those examples that bring us to those places of shining the light on those triggered past places. That's it, right? So here's the thing with it. Once they understood each other's pattern by witnessing it in session together, whoa, now they understand each other's experience. So what happens here with that is now it's not you against me. Now they're in the you and they're not in the you and me consciousness anymore, right? They're not pointing fingers and saying, it's your fault for this, shaming and blaming and accusations that just pretty much put fuel onto the fire. No, what was happening was it witnessed each other understanding those past triggers and what they're bringing inside of relationship. And now they're a team. Now they're a unit, right? Now they're in this us awareness. We're together. We are in relationship, right? You're going to hear me talk about relationship a lot here and how to really step into relationship in a healthy way. So, this is the power of having coaching. You have someone to bear witness to your experience. You have someone giving you honest feedback and then giving you those tools that can really, really move the needle.
I love what you talked about with the past. We don't go back and zoom in on the past, right? We do visit it, but with that purpose in the coaching world, we're visiting the past as a tool to move forward. What lessons are back here? What do I need to know about myself so that as I move forward, I'm doing that with that story, that intention, and that understanding, that awareness. I love that. And then when you said you and me, it made me think of you versus me, right? In those conversations, of course, we all know it in families and couplehood. It becomes this win-lose. It's like I can't even hear you anymore because I'm waiting to bite down on something you said or prove it wrong. And so I love that idea of it's you and me rather than you or me. It's you and me. It's you, it's us, it's this team. Maybe we're together against the problem, even we're together to find the solution. I love that.
Yes, indeed. It's the individualistic. It's the myth of the individual, right? So you came together as a team. You got to try and stay a team.
Yeah.
And by the way, with this particular couple, the story that I just shared, I spoke with them yesterday and they told me they have not had a fight in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So they've been integrating the tools that they are learning and putting it into play.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
What an amazing journey for them. And so tell me, when you think about, so that's one story, which I love. If you were able to sum up kind of coaching versus, and I'm ad-libbing here, so feel free to think your way through this, but if we think about a couple sentences that would say, here we are as a couple, we know we want to invest in ourselves. There's coaching therapy, there's coaching counseling, I guess I would say, and there's couples coaching. What's the difference? Why would I choose one over the other?
Yeah. So the difference between therapy for couples versus couples coaching. As I mentioned just a little bit ago, talking about the not going into the past, not digging up those old wounds, really, really, really shining the light on those old wounds. Yes, they're helpful to understand, but we don't want to immerse ourselves into the past. Coaching to me is like, I, as a coach, I have my hand at both of your backs, right? Or we're holding hands and we're walking through this journey together, not I'm your guide, right? I'm the enlightened witness. I'm somebody who's here who can really show you those places that may be the fragility, those fragile points in that relationship where, hmm, whereas Tiffany, I want to say like couples therapy, I don't feel like couples therapy is as there's not as much dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're in this together, we're holding each other's hands, we're having the dialogue together, we're coming up with the solutions
Yeah.
together. And then you're taking it home, right? Applying it. And then you come back and you say, this worked. We got stuck here and off we go to continue to go up that ladder to that place, that apex that feels that crescendo that really feels like we know what to do now, right?
Yeah.
We know what to do. I can walk away 6, 10 sessions with somebody. It doesn't even matter really the number, but you know what to do. I want to equip you with those tools to know that we can go home and we can be sovereign. We can be this couple that can do this, right? We don't have to go back to therapy for 10 years, you know?
Right. Yeah, kind of coming in goal oriented, right? We're moving towards solution. There's a start and an end to coaching, which I think is really valuable and gets I think the best. I think about it as people kind of on the edge of their seat. We're going in for a period of time to make shift intentionally. And I love that.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, what would be a sign if people are listening to this or thinking about couples coaching? What would be the signs that would help them know they're ready?
Yeah. I love this question. I have a couple of answers for it. I want to plainly say it is so important for you to follow your intuition. You know when it is time,
Mhm.
period. We all do. We all do. You feel it in your gut. You have to follow your intuition. Just do it, right? Just do it.
Yeah.
So I want to say that. And then, in a more pragmatic standpoint, I want to point out, I look at it like a spectrum. You've got one end of the spectrum and you have the other end. This side of the spectrum is we want what's best for our relationship, period. So we're going to go in, we're going to be proactive. We want to take charge and we want to feel that we are equipped with the tools to know what we're doing when we start to take that nosedive, which we all do,
Yeah.
right? So that's the one side of the spectrum, I believe. Um, and I think it's so incredibly helpful. I personally do it that way. And the irony, what I think is so funny, is that you go in thinking, well, we want to be the best relationship that we can be. And you inevitably get into the coaching and the coach poses a question, bam, you have so much stuff that's underneath that you think you're gonna flip out. Like, I thought we were good. So it's great, right? So then the other side of the spectrum truly is, when you notice that you're in that cycle I was talking about before, and you just feel stuck, you're so challenged, and it's the same stories
Yeah.
over and over and over, right? You're in that repetitive loop. So that's really a key indicator. Another one is that you feel so closed off to your partner. You feel so closed off.
Mhm.
You want to learn new methods of communication. You just don't have the open heart to do so, right? Um, I'd love to share an example. I was at a workshop about 13 years ago, and being stuck in this loop. So I went and I asked the woman who was speaking, she was speaking on relationship. And I went up to her on break and I said, what do you do when, you have the couple that's in a stalemate, right? They just can't. She goes, somebody has to be able to give empathy. And so that's one of the things that really truly will be taught. You will learn the skills, which kind of leads me to my next point here is that when you feel so closed off, you will learn the tools to understand your own triggers, and you're going to understand your partner's trigger because you're going to understand that pattern, that more of like an adaptive child pattern that your partner has, and you can see them in it, and you'll be able to soften it and diffuse it with simple language, simple terminology. Um, Also, another one is you're really scared that the relationship is close to the end,
Yeah.
right? So this is clearly a sign to get some coaching. And I really want to kind of hone in on this point for a moment. So when you feel like that you're close to the end, please do not do nothing.
Right.
Do not do nothing. Get in there. You must give your relationship a chance. Don't you dare. Don't you dare walk away from that thing without giving your relationship a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love some of those indicators. And I think about, how we can probably all go, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that feeling of like, oh, this again, or why would I even bring it up? There's nothing's going to come of it. Right. So if we're thinking some of those thoughts, it might be a really great indicator that this is a great tool. The other thing I think about some of the myths just around coaching in general, and I think it applies for couples coaching as well, is that we need to be broken in order to go do the work, right? And so some of the indicators just might be like, I think we could do more here, right? Like we have such a solid foundation. We have good tools and we're working this fertile soil, and I want to see what we can grow. What can we do together? What's the next level? I think, of course, both people have to be at that mindset, but I think those indicators where it might feel a little broken, and also, like you said, just that intuition of like, I think there's more here. There's something that is bringing me to this, or keeps me thinking about this, or really curious about coaching, could be another indicator.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so if we have couples who are looking to do this, what are some of the outcomes that they can expect?
Yeah. 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 So I think a fun one is you can expect to fall in love again if you want to, if you so desire.
Yeah.
I want to share a little story. I think it's really sweet. My chiropractor, his grandparents at the time were married 40 years, and he chose to share this story with me. And he said, Satya, my grandfather told me in the 40 years, I fell in and out of love with your grandmother 4 times.
Wow.
I think that's such a poignant story.
Yeah.
It's nothing really else needs to be said. You all get it. You understand.
Yeah.
It is a roller coaster. Relationships truly are. So, and the other thought I have about expectations that you can expect from outcomes you can expect from coaching is, you know, would you put a 16-year-old behind the wheel of a vehicle without them learning the rules of the road? Right?
No way.
That is so scary. That's not
Yeah.
pretty, right? And they have to learn how to parallel park. They have to take the test. They have to do all the things, right? And with couples coaching, you will learn how to relationship,
Yeah.
right? And so what I mean by that, the outcomes you can expect from that is I did say, how can you spot when your partner is in their patterned behavior, right? And how to diffuse this again with simple language instead of, getting yourself triggered again, not shaming, not blaming, not pointing fingers, not accusing them. Again, it's going to add that fuel to the fire, right? You can expect to learn how to truth tell in your relationship, which is very difficult,
Yeah.
very difficult, right? You'll learn to cultivate the courage to do that in a way that is comfortable and safe and loving and compassionate, right? So,
Yeah.
um,
I love that what you opened with this, you'll learn how to relationship. It makes me think of that Stephen Covey line that love is a verb. And I absolutely love that phrase. I keep it all around our house. I say it all the time. It's an intention, it's an action, it's a practice, it's something I'm engaging in, it's active. It makes me think of that story you just told about the couples falling in and out of love. And when we do, we're really at a choice point. Okay, I'm here. We feel this way. We're here as a couple. What's the action? Am I investing in us
Yes.
or not? Yeah.
It's so beautiful. I could not agree more. It's an action. So Marianne Williamson says love is a participatory emotion.
Yeah.
Oriented. Yes.
So good. Yeah. Really good.
Mhm.
So, yeah, go ahead.
So I also believe some of the outcomes to expect are that you can expect to be able to learn how to take responsibility and accountability without guilt and without shame.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can learn to apologize when you messed up, right? You can dissect your own inner triggers to be able to say, hey, I'm not going to show up like that. You will learn this gap. There is a gap in time. Instead of going from 0 to 60, you're going to learn that there is a very small gap where you can create something new. And that is the conscious awareness that you're in a pattern. So these are all the things that you can expect. So much, right?
Yeah.
There's so much more. Um, but again, this is how to learn how to relationship.
Yeah.
It's a verb,
It's a
indeed.
verb. And what I'm hearing you say, which it's just kind of a light bulb moment for me, and of course it is this way because it is coaching, which is that the work while we're going in as couples is also so very individualized for me, right? Where you've talked about learning my own patterns, learning how to give empathy when I see my partner's patterns, learning these practices and these awarenesses that are really about self rather than going in with the expectation I'm changing this person. It's really I'm transforming and I'm doing this in partnership to better our relationship, to relationship better. Yeah.
Right, 100%. We all bring our personal issues into the relationship for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. And another really funny phrase that I love is this is from another mentor of mine, Terrence Real. He shares, we all marry our unfinished business.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Oh, in so many ways. Yeah. So this is exciting. I love this. I'm curious. I know in the coaching world, there are 1,000 ways to offer services. So I would like to hear about the way you offer coaching. What would a typical session look like? And knowing for our listeners that this could look 1,000 different ways based on another coach. But for you, what does a typical session look like? What is the experience? And do you coach virtually? Can people access you outside of your area? Do you even coach in person? What can we expect?
Yeah, wonderful question. Thank you. So definitely, virtual is the way to go, right? People are busy, couples are busy, inevitably they have children. So we get on a Zoom just like this and we work together. So it's wonderful. It's such a great way to not have to add that travel time. And I do also see people in person, if need be. Um, but yeah, virtual is usually the way to go. And
Well, it's so nice. I travel a lot for work. So I think about the ability we don't have to skip weeks. If I'm gone, we can still Zoom in. My partner, myself, coach, the work can still be happening.
100%.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And then, I like this from a conceptual standpoint. I don't believe that the coach is in a one-up position. Okay. I believe that here we are, we're all together. We have come together for a reason, for a purpose, and we have met one another for a reason and purpose. And I believe that we're in this game of life together. I may have the skill set to guide you in a way that you haven't seen before. Yet we are in the same playing field. I like to say that we will establish a baseline of confidentiality, of respect, of trust, of safety, um, a lot of guidelines from the standpoint of not interrupting one another, right? Really compassionately listening to each other. I know people get really fired up and couples therapy and Um, Sometimes it can go off the rails, if you will, and that's okay too, right? But I'm there to guide you and to hold that space as sacredly and safely and respectfully as possible. Um, the other piece is that we are listening to each other intently. So there are times in session when I'm saying, hey Sam, did you actually just hear Jane? What did you think she said there?
Yeah.
Which I think is really, really important. Yeah, and then to me, the miracle question at the beginning is if you were to come into um, this coaching capacity in this sessions together, what is the outcome, right? What is the home run for you? What is it that you both want to experience with your relationship? And knowing that you've got that goal, you've got that end point, we are working toward it. And I bring that back in session well, whenever we meet, right? Weekly, every other week, what have you. But we know where we're going. We morph, we bend, it's organic, but we have that goal, right? That place that you want to be.
Yeah.
So, and sessions are an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah. So that would I say would be a typical session, how that would.
Okay. And it sounds like people are meeting with you weekly or every other week. Is that about
That's
right? Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
I feel that more than every other week, we're sort of losing steam. I know life happens, but if you want to come in and get this done, and like we said much earlier, is like coaching. Coaching is not a long-term event, right? We're
Yeah.
here to really support you and get you going in that trajectory where you want to be as a couple, and you have those tools to do that, and you walk away knowing how to do it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I'm curious as a couple, if we were to come in and I love this idea of kind of going in, being intense, getting the tools, and then going off and seeing how we do with those for a while. Is it something where we could come in, do 3 to 6 weeks with you, and then go for a few months, go for 3 months and see how we're doing, and then come back? We're ready for the next level. Can it work like that?
1,000%. Thank you for asking that question. Yes, countless people have decided to come back in for a tiny little refresher.
Okay.
So that's 100% possible.
That's
Yes.
wonderful. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm to my final question here, which is really what I want to do is have folks leave with some things they can do right now to kind of juice things up in their relationship, right? If you've listened to this and you're feeling the curiosity bubble up, or what is coaching couples, what could this do for our relationship, our marriage, so forth. I'm curious if you have 3 coaching questions that couples could use tonight within the next 24 hours to kind of spark connection.
I love it. It's such a great question, such a light. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So let's see here. One of the things that I do usually in first session, and I think it's a wonderful tool, you can do it tonight before you go to bed, maybe before dinner. Tell one another, it's an appreciation exercise. Just say one thing that you appreciate about your partner. And, I've to me, it's more impactful if it's character driven versus, well, thanks for taking out the garbage today, like I asked you.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I appreciate about you, about who you are, how you show up in the world, how you show up in our relationship. You can remember that, right? So it's, yeah, an appreciation exercise.
Okay, so a character driven appreciation exercise. Not what did you do for me lately? Insert what is that, Janet Jackson? But really like just who you are as a human being in this world.
Exactly.
So great.
So beautiful. Yeah. And another thing that pops into mind is the 17-second hug.
Ah,
It releases the oxytocin, that love hormone, and just hug each other. Just give each other a hug. Hold it for 17 seconds. No words. No words. No words are not necessary here. And that transference of love can speaks volumes.
Mm. Oh, that's really lovely. I
Hmm.
love that. Yeah.
And then another one I would say could be I remember when. I remember when. Share a positive memory. You took a trip together, you went to a ball game together, or something that was, a really fond memory of something that you've done together that can actually, the present is the gift, right? We know this, but in this scenario, when you're in the places where you just feel so closed off to one another, it can
Yeah.
be just a sweet little exercise to say, hey, I remember when we took that trip to the coast and we played around in the ocean, and it's such a beautiful to go back to the past and just recall a memory,
Yeah.
a healthy, positive memory.
Yeah. That's so great. We just did this accidentally last night. When Dade and I were first together, he had white carpet. Who has white carpet? White carpet. And I had a mouthful. Not a mouthful. I wasn't chugging red wine, but I had a mouthful of drink of red wine. And he said something that made me laugh. And I just spat it everywhere. So we were just having that moment and walking down, the apartment living pre-children, and how we would pause and just have a nice glass of wine together, as opposed to where we are now, which is in full on go mode for parenthood. And it was really just, yeah, it was a great moment, and also kind of nudged us to, like, let's go sit outside, it reminded us, like, we do really quite enjoy each other. We left stains in that carpet to prove it. I really do like you.
Better.
So
I love
great.
that. So
Aw.
thanks for sharing.
Well, Satya, thank you very much. I so appreciate you. I do want to just say to anybody who is interested, through Empower, you can work with the amazing Satya. We have couples coaching, and we are offering for the part of the month of August, August 4th through August 15th is a 15% discount. The code is Empowered Life 15. And so I'll put all those links down. And thank you, Satya. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. I'm so grateful to spend this time. Thanks for tuning in to Rewired. Neuroscience meets real-life change. I'm Tiffany, and I'm so grateful that you were here today. If you enjoyed this conversation, I'd be so grateful if you could take a moment and leave a 5-star review. Your feedback helps more people discover this brand new podcast and gain the tools, insights, and inspirations they need to create lasting change.